So, Netflix decides to make a live-action Fullmetal Alchemist movie, and in keeping with the classic meme of manga, anime, Netflix adaptation, this movie is utter garbage.
I see it, and now it's all within my reach. Possibility. I see it now. It's always been inside of me. Now I feel so free. And there's possibility. And there's possibility. And there's possibility. And there's possibility.
Hello everyone, and today I'm taking a look at Fullmetal Alchemist live action, or Fullmetal Alchemist Netflix, or Fullmetal Alchemist 2017, whatever you want to call it. But if I'm going to be honest here, guys, this is probably the worst live action adaptation I have ever seen since M. Night Shyamalan's Last Airbender movie. I am not even joking, because here's the thing with this movie. This movie decides to take a page out of the M. Night Shyamalan and Ding Dong Last Airbender movie, and decides that, hey, maybe we should cram in so many iconic scenes from both animes and the manga, just so that way we can get fans' approval. And much like with the Last Airbender movie, it utterly fails at understanding the context. Because let's try to see what they crammed into this movie. And this is not the canon order, by the way. Some of these things do not happen in terms of chronological order. First off, there's Ed and Al's childhood, the Lior incident, the Shao Tucker arc, finding of Dr. Marco, the discovery of the Fifth Laboratory, Maze Hugh's death, Alphonse's existential crisis where he thinks he's not a real boy like Pinocchio, and of course the the Mannequin Army, or the Homunculi Army, and of course the burning of Lust. That is 9 things they decided to cram into this movie in a 2-hour runtime. That's at least 3. You can make 3 movies in total with all those stuff they decided to cram in. But nope, they're like, no, we gotta make this into 1 movie. And oh boy, much like the Last Airbender movie, it fails at understanding the context. Like, for example, with the whole stuff with the childhood thing, you wanna know how much time we spent before Trisha Elric dies? 40 seconds. I am not even joking, people. 40 seconds. Even though I wasn't too much of a big fan of how they handled Trisha's death in Brotherhood, at least it was at least 4 minutes compared to 40 seconds. I still believe that 2003 was the best version of Trisha Elric's death, but still. And then they decided to cut to the Lior incident, and there's no context given to us about why Ed and Al are chasing, the guy, the church guy. I mean, yes, they do explain after it, but they're just like, nope, after they show Ed and Al going through the portal, they decide to cut to Ed chasing Father Cornello. And yeah, it just comes off very distracting. Seriously, the whole point of Father Cornello's character was to show the dark underlines of religion, how some people in religion can be corrupted, and how they're corrupting people into, believing things. That was the whole point of Father Cornello, but we don't get that from this movie. In fact, he's just running around and taking people as hostages when he should be telling he should be in the center stage of Lior, telling people to hang the Elric brothers, thinking they're not religion and thinking that they're trying to take away their beliefs. That's what should have been done, but no. Father Cornello, he's just a one-note villain. And also, this movie, all the costumes, now look, I know people took hard work in this film, I know. But dear God, the costumes don't look very good. They look like cosplay almost. In fact, I've seen a lot better cosplay than this. And a lot of the characters are not done very well. In fact, there's only one character in this movie that was done actually decently. That being Maze Hughes. But even then with Maze Hughes, you can't get him wrong really. Seriously, he's like Uncle Iroh. You can't get the guy wrong at all. He's just perfect the way he is. I'll fully admit, compared to both versions of the anime, this version of Maze Hughes isn't as good, but at least he's funny, and that's another problem with this movie. When it tries to do humor, it doesn't work very well. This is the biggest problem with trying to take something that was animated and making something into live action. You won't get a lot of the goofy or over-the-top expressions because it's live action, and you're going to have to make the actors do some, try to act over the top. When in animation, it's a lot easier. That's the biggest problem with trying to make something that was clearly meant for animation into live action. Sure, there have been some exceptions to this, like, for example, Detective Pikachu and the Sonic movie, but still. And also, Edward in this movie is just boring. He doesn't really learn anything, and we don't understand. In fact, here's the thing. Edward's entire character is that he uses his brain to get in and out of situations, but here that's never the case. He never uses his intelligence to get out of something. He's always like, oh, okay. And heck, all the characters point him to the directions, and he doesn't even learn that the Philosopher's Stones are made out of human lives until Shao gives his big exposition villain monologue. Oh yeah, that's another thing about this movie. When it does the Shao Tucker arc, it feels so rushed. While yes, in Brotherhood it was only one episode compared to 2003 where they spent multiple episodes with Shao Tucker, but at least then you saw a man who was getting, like, basically Shao Tucker's character was that he was supposed to be what would happen if Edward went down the wrong path of being an alchemist and would use his brother as a guinea pig. That was the point of Shao's character. I hate Shao Tucker, but I can understand his character. In fact, we see how the military is all like, hey, if you don't get this certification thing done, you're going to be back on the streets living in poverty. And that's why Shao decided to do what he did to Nina and Alexander. I still hate Shao, but I guess you can understand why he did it. But here, they don't even bring that into question. At all. In fact, before Nina turns into a chimera, we only know her for like 2 minutes. I'm not even joking. No, actually a minute. We get a flashback between her and Edward, where they're playing, and one scene where she's playing with Alphonse. That's it. And other than that, you know nothing about Nina before she turns into a chimera. And also, they even try to do the whole Alphonse existential crisis thing, which I think wasn't in the manga, but I can at least understand why both Brotherhood and O3 did that. Because it made sense in both versions, since the person who gave Alphonse thoughts about him not being a true human boy was Barry the Chopper, who was originally a human, but was turned into, but then had his soul attached to a suit of armor like Alphonse. So him telling Alphonse, hey, what if your memories are fake and not real? It makes sense, because like with Alphonse, Barry's soul is attached to a suit of armor. But you want to know who gives Alphonse the idea that he may not be a real boy? It's Shao Tucker. Really? You're really going to believe that Shao Tucker is telling the truth? Heck, even after it's been revealed that Shao basically murdered his family, Alphonse tells Edward, hey, hey, big brother, even though that man just murdered his entire family, I think he's right. I think he's telling me the truth that I'm not a real boy and you're a bad person. Really, Alphonse? You would trust this guy who just murdered his daughter over your big brother? Stupid. You're so stupid. Dear God. In fact, here's another thing. They try to do the whole lust, they even try to reveal the whole envy being, you know, Mace Hugh's killer thing. But the problem is, we don't really see that building in Roy, because in case you don't know, throughout Brotherhood, it was supposed that the entire death of Mace Hughes was supposed to exemplify the rage in Roy, that he's the flame alchemist, and his anger and flame is growing brighter because of Mace's death. That's why when he encounters Lust, he's all like, hey, do you know who killed Mace Hughes? And that's why he's going all savage on Envy when he finds out, oh yeah, Envy killed May. But guess what happens? Right when you find that out, that Envy killed May, well, when Roy finds it out, he kills Lust, and we believe that he killed Envy, but no, Envy's there for a sequel bait. Sorry, but that's not a good thing at all, because, in case you don't know, it won't have the same impact since we just had that scene of Roy burning Lust and burning Envy, so it's not going to have the same impact. In fact, they try to do the whole where they blame it on Roy because of Envy's, disguise thing. And right when Roy burns Maria Ross, who's disguised as Envy, none of the soldiers fire on Roy, even though they're supposed to. They were given orders that if Roy hesitates, if Roy doesn't, go along peacefully, they're ordered to shoot and kill Roy. Seriously. And also, the entire climax, they try to do the whole homunculi mannequin army, And in the show, they show how dangerous they are. Heck, not even Scar's face-grabbing explosion can kill them easily. But you want to know what does kill them easily in this movie? Bullets. That's right, Riza gets some of the army men from Amestris and shoots down the entire homunculi army. So much for the power of the Philosopher's Stone that it has given people ultimate power. Seriously, you're really making the Philosopher's Stone look truly powerful by getting defeated by just one bullet. This movie's freaking terrible, and the acting is terrible also. Now, look, I don't understand Japanese things because I read the subtitles for this movie, but even so, the acting, it just isn't good at all. And the sets look like sets, the costumes look like costumes, and yeah. In fact, the only character that's really given an arc this film is Alphonse, where he finds out that he's a real boy. But other than that, this movie is freaking terrible. I would not recommend you watch this movie. The only things FMA I would recommend to watch are Fullmetal Alchemist 2003, Fullmetal Alchemist Conqueror of Shambhala, and Brotherhood. Pretend that Sacred Star Milos and this travesty don't exist. And as such, I'm giving this movie a 2 out of 10, or heck, even a 1. It's in the middle between them. But still, this movie was just god-awful, and I hate it. So see you all later, and have a good day. Bye, and I hope you enjoyed.